This is Aussie Mac Zone. We'll cover everything Apple, including Macs, iPhones, iPads, and more. All this from an Aussie perspective. Sit back, relax, and insert yourself into the zone. The Aussie Mac
Hello
Zone.
everyone, it's another Tuesday and that means Aussie Mac Zone. How you going? It's episode 3 of the rebooted Aussie Mac Zone. It's the 2nd of July. You can join us in the lounge. That's if Ustream decides to work. I think there was an issue, so if you tried to log into aussietechheads.com.au/live on last Tuesday night, then you would have found a blank screen. We apologise. Wasn't our fault. That's Ustream. You know, there's complaints all over the show. But anyway, that didn't stop us. We're still forging on. Now, Aussie Mac Zone the bandwidth is brought to you by Aussie Tech Heads Hosting at aussietechheads.com.au/hosting. Go and get yourself a look at that. Affordable, fast servers. The servers are actually in Sydney. They're all managed, you know, in the water cooled or whatever, you know, air conditioned, all that sort of stuff. It's a fair income setup. So go and have a look at the plans that we've got there. aussietechheads.com.au/hosting. All right. We have a panel as usual. And apart from myself, Glenn, there is Warlock, and we'll go down and see what he's up to. Warlock, how you going?
Not too bad. How's yourself?
Yeah, it's good. Anything?
A bit chilly.
Yeah, it is a bit chilly. It is the winter, and it's been raining. And
watch the ice off my windscreen this morning before going to work.
Oh, I remember doing that when I lived in Sydney. That's terrible. That's terrible. And
back in the good old days.
That's right. And we've got Jason over there in Adelaide. How are you going, Jason?
Well, thanks, Glenn. How are you guys?
Not too bad, thanks. What's the weather like over there in Adelaide?
Rather chilly here as well, so I think it's cold all round.
It's chilly all around. And we have back joining us this week and all the way from up north somewhere, Crocodile Country, is Garth. How you doing, Garth?
G'day, Glenn. How's it going, man? Yep. No, I didn't have to wash the ice off my windscreen this morning. I considered putting a jacket on. I considered it.
Yes.
And I went and sat on the balcony without one anyway.
Oh, good. Well, you're looking good, Garth. You got a haircut. You're looking mighty fine and ready to get into some Mac zones. Good stuff.
Let's get in the zone.
All right. Now, where are we going to start here? Let's have a look. Has anyone left a review on the iTunes yet? If you haven't, what are you doing? There's $20 iTunes gift voucher, and we're going to look. As soon as someone does it, they'll probably win it. So what are you waiting for? It's $20. So what you do, just go and leave preferably a positive review on the iTunes, Apple Mac Zone iTunes page, and email us, a screenshot of you doing it so we can know that you're the one person that actually has...
Maybe they could even take a video of them doing it, Glenn. That'd be even more exciting. Here I am writing my review.
Oh, look, isn't it just the technology?
At a time.
So go and do that.
Now, you did say I couldn't do that myself, didn't you, Glenn?
Yeah.
Damn.
Oh, that's right. Yes, you can't do it.
If we see one that says, geez, that Garth bloke is all right, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's top. I don't know who it came from.
He hosts and wins competitions. Oh, he's on fire.
What's the chances of that?
Yeah. So now when
Who'd
you
have thunk it?
when you do record or screen snap your review, send it to feedback@aussiemaczone.com.au. All right. So do that. $20, 20 buckaroonies. There's also go and jump on the Facebook page and do a Aussie Tech Heads Facebook page, which is facebook.com/Aussie Tech Heads, and there could be another $20 voucher. Just go how much you love the show. Aussie Mac Zone. Yeah, get it into you.
We're going crazy.
Oh, that's crazy.
But wait, there's more.
So make sure you like the page. All right, we'll make that a prerequisite. Also, if you do the review on iTunes, you have to like the page. If you're not a liker,
I like it.
we'll make you. All right.
Pretty good, eh?
Yeah, hey, good work. All right, now we'll quickly get into some news. We're going to have because the show is rebooted. We've got changing the format around a little bit, trying to fit into the groove of everything, and we're going to do a couple of news stories this episode, and then we're going to have some app reviews or tips and picks of the week. So stay tuned for those because some of those tips and picks, they're beauties. All right. Well, we'll ease into it, with some iOS 7 is going to include the ability to control your phone or iPad using head movements. So what's all that about? So actually, I think Garth, you'd be probably across this, wouldn't you?
A little aware. It's not really relevant to my own use of the accessibility stuff built in, but Apple obviously, and particularly in iOS 7 and across all of their platforms, basically have a fantastic, a really rich accessibility infrastructure there, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
And one added thing is the one button. I don't know if it's an API or what it is, but so allowing people with limited dexterity to be able to control their iOS devices.
Yeah.
So sort of locked it down to just the movement of a head.
Yes.
To, for example, get an icon will be circling across, say, for picking the app on a screen. So initially the icon will be scrolling up and down, and where the nod of a head, it'll stop there and it'll start scrolling backwards and forwards across the rows of icons, and nod of a head, and you'll select the icon.
Yeah, nice.
So quite a laborious way of doing it. From
I reckon you get yourself a bit of a workout when you're doing it, wouldn't you?
Well, you could.
Strengthen the neck muscles.
Yeah.
Exactly. For someone who can just, see and do it, that's going to seem like a really long way around. But for someone who had no access to that interface at all previously, absolutely fantastic.
You'd be riding on the train and you'd be seeing all these people with twitches. What's going on?
Head banging. Yeah, this is a really great move.
Well, most of them probably they'll probably be quadriplegics who probably aren't on the train.
Got a bit of Parkinson's, that one.
Well, I suppose that's that would be good for them, wouldn't it? Yes, of course.
That's who it's designed for. So someone who has no, may only be able to interact with the world and they'll have devices that hook up to the iOS that with just a straw type thing where they can just breathe through a straw, or various movements can activate a micro switch of one of these like Mercury type switches.
Now,
sounds like they're getting a lot of
all they
ideas
need to interact with the whole whole environment is a single one press button.
Sounds like they're getting a lot of ideas from the Samsung Galaxy S4. Has got all of those hover over it and move things around, and it watches your eyes for the scrolling messages and stuff.
Yeah,
I was just going to say, what does Stephen Hawking have? Because his is with eye movement, isn't it? I mean, obviously it's a dedicated device, but that's obviously a lot less tedious than having to move your head around. So maybe it's just a start of iteration, bringing something like that to, the camera's there, but I guess maybe the optics or processing power is not quite enough at the moment to just use your eye movement to navigate the screen.
And what I think you'll see, or is that what Apple have done is include an API that developers of hardware can use, or an API or whatever, an environment that developers of hardware can use to interface with that. So whatever's relevant for that particular person, whether it's a blow, one of the tube type things where they're breathing through a straw to activate the switch, or a movement of the eye or the head nod. I think in this case, what we've seen is that Apple have been able to say, okay, well, we've got the camera there. We can actually do that one ourselves. But you'll see other devices, I guess, that interface with the iPhone that make use of that same API in terms of a one press. Like that's all it is, you're pressing one single button.
Yep.
And that allows you to scroll through the whole environment of iOS through what they've based underneath that.
Now, forgive my ignorance, but now iOS 7 has been launched, hasn't it? No, it's not available, but it's been launched because it's available to developers.
Beta.
It's available to developers, yeah.
Yeah. So as this story goes on, it's so when it was launched, wouldn't it have been the features of iOS 7 would have been disclosed? You would imagine, but as far as the story goes, this addition or this ability to control it with your head was discovered by an anonymous tipster. Like, what does that mean? Is Apple not?
That just means someone's broken the NDA. That's all it is.
Oh, okay, right.
I'm pretty sure that's all we're talking about here.
Right.
Someone's like everything with iOS 7. I mean, who was it? Gruber or someone saying that 10% of his traffic is coming from iOS. 10% of iOS visitors to his site are on iOS 7.
Wow. But that means
it's incredible.
But you can't. Can you download, if you're a developer? Can you download iOS 7 and then give it to someone else? Like, is it that easily to?
No, but it's out there in the wild.
Yes.
If you felt the urge, Glenn, you could go and put it on your device.
I don't.
Now.
Yes. Okay.
No.
Well, yeah, but what? But I'd
We're
have
up
to
to
pay.
beta 2, but I still wouldn't be recommending beta 2. Maybe 3 or 4. You know might be worth have a look, but
But I'd have to pay
yeah.
for a developer's license
No.
first. No, I could just go in and download it.
In the same way that you can choose to follow the rules and pay for your movies, or you can
Right.
choose to download them from
Oh,
somewhere
okay.
else.
Okay.
Same thing.
Well, I thought
It's up to you.
I thought Apple
And your
was locked
conscience.
down more better than that. You know, like it had to be
Google is locked down better than that.
Yeah, fair enough. Okay, so the same with all the iOS 6. Then you can just go and grab it from somewhere and bung it on. Is that
5 minutes after iOS 7, 5 minutes after iOS 7 was released to developers, it would have been available to download.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I know.
But just
another
on your
file.
device.
Just another file you can upload somewhere and say, here it is
Exactly.
on my Dropbox or
Exactly.
anywhere I drive.
Yeah.
So, and the other thought occurs that because a lot of people have been saying recently that Apple has dropped the ball and they can't innovate and they're not doing anything interesting. I think they would not officially, but they would be happy for people to go through and leak out a few extra bits of information to say, hey, look, Apple's still doing some stuff and they got this as planned and I think this is planned and they haven't mentioned this. Isn't this awesome? And it gets the excitement of the people and they're like, oh yeah, let's see what else we can find out about iOS 7 that they didn't mention.
Yeah,
And it keeps it going.
Exactly.
The excitement
Everyone
going
wants to
until
have a
it
look
gets
at
released.
keeps the train going.
Yeah.
Well, talking about innovation, Jason, what the Apple lodged trademarks in Japan for the iWatch?
Yeah, it would seem momentum's gathering around the iWatch. So in Japan, I think Garth was mentioning before the show, Mexico and another country as well,
Taiwan, I think.
where the iWatch trademark's been registered. So, and obviously been registered by Apple. So, yeah, look, speculation, I guess, continues around the iWatch being released and maybe around the September, October timeframe, along with the iPhone device release cycle. So it's still continuing to gather momentum, but as to exactly what it looks like or what it might do, nothing further around that.
Is this something that's going to take off, do you think? To me, I don't know. I probably would say, it's just another gadget. I'm not sure it's actually going to go crazy. And I'll tell you my reason in a second. But Jason, do you think it's going to take off? Is it another one of these razzle-dazzle Apple products?
Well, I mean, there's going to be dedicated, but maybe small core of people who are after it that
Fanboys.
that took the previous version iPod Nano and which we've got pictures up in the show notes, and put a watch band around that. And of course, there's various other watches around that integrate with both iOS devices and Android. Probably the Pebble being one of the biggest ones of those, and that had large demand, and that's continued to push through a lot of devices. I think that was a Kickstarter initiative. So there's some demand there, but I mean, that's certainly in the thousands or tens of thousands, not in the millions. So, but again, Apple are around, maybe not inventing things, but improving. So they might come up with the killer feature or the killer part of, what makes people suddenly start doing this. And maybe that's voice. Maybe that's the Dick Tracy thing.
Perfect, isn't it?
I'm sure they'll figure out a way to say, this is why ours is the one that you want, and not the Samsung one and not the Google one that there's just been talked about today. In fact, they reckon Google's going to be doing one, and also a Google gaming device, a bit like the Ouya. So everybody's going to have a watch soon, and even Pebble's already got theirs out. So Apple will have a reason to say it integrates beautifully with your iPhone. It works wonderfully with your documents that you can see headers, and you might be able to click a button to forward it to somebody or whatever, or you'll see your messages come up much easier than any of those other products that we won't mention because we don't believe they exist, and ours is the one you want.
That's right.
I see what you were trying to do there with that Pebble. But this is how you really do it. This is how you do it.
This is a better experience for our customers, and you definitely want to get ours and give us lots of money, please. Thanks. Oh, our shares went up. Thank you.
Well, look, the reason why I sort of don't think it would work too much, and look, I would have thought that these Google Glass was a bit hairy-fairy, but then I've heard from people that have worn it and they said it's great. Whether or not that's just the buzz at the moment, because they're probably one in 1,000 people of 1,000 people have probably tried one on. But look, last week I went down to the optometrist and I got a new pair of glasses. I'm thinking I won't be able to see this damn watch face. It'd be too small.
Yeah.
I'd have to have it right up into my eyes to see it, or have the glasses on or whatever all the time. I just think, but I suppose like you may say to me that, well, you can read a watch, can't you? Well, and yes, I can, but I'm not sure about icons and text. That it's on the screen. So I don't know.
How close do you hold your phone to your face?
Yeah, I'll probably, or just a normal distance, whatever.
Just
There's
right
some
up
darn
like
small
that.
text on that phone, buddy. There's some really small text on.
With his nose touching the screen.
Less text, I think.
What was that?
Yeah.
I don't know. For someone with normal sight, I don't know. I wouldn't be too concerned about the legibility or what's on there. It's just how much of it you're going to get on that screen.
Yeah.
It's such a small screen. So there's just not going to be that much information on there.
Yeah.
And, how... I'm waiting to see as well on that one.
But,
I'm
that's the whole
not
part of the
myself
experience.
seeing the use case for it.
Mm.
But maybe with the fitness type stuff built in, that would push me over the border. Maybe. We'll see,
look, I can see that, but then I think you're starting to get down to like a device for a purpose, not an all-purpose device, if you know what I mean. So
it just seems like an extension to notifications. I don't see how it can be much more than an extension to notifications. But that's Apple's job to show us how much more it can be, I guess.
Well, that's right. Now moving over to Microsoft. Oh, heavens forbid, in the zone.
They get a mention on this show? What's
They
wrong with
do.
you?
They do. And no, we're not going to bag them. Microsoft continues to show
It's such an easy target.
No, they're all right. Microsoft continues to show its iOS portfolio some attention. They've announced a major update to their OneNote application for iPhone and iPad. Does anyone use OneNote here? Have we got any noters?
Excuse me.
So that's a no from you, Garth?
You're sending Garth off to sleep there. Wake up.
I think.
Sorry, what?
Who would use OneNote? I suppose you would if you're say daytime in a Microsoft environment. But there's so many apps out there that would probably do OneNote job bigger and better. I'd imagine.
There are a lot of businesses that have got the Microsoft pre-approval for everything. So if they say, "Oh, this integrates with Exchange" or something like that, then it's more likely to get on there than Joe's text app or something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right. In an enterprise and look, really a Microsoft-centric ecosystem. So where it's got, I think, syncing with SkyDrive, SharePoint, etc. Look, to be fair, it's a pretty, it works pretty well. Where I've used it in a work environment, obviously not an iOS device, but on a laptop. And to me, it's probably around. If you're in the Microsoft ecosystem, you're probably not going to have it on your iOS device. You're probably going to be using Windows Mobile. So maybe a limited audience in the iOS world. But it's not too bad an application. And again, for enterprise work purposes, where you can sync up with your enterprise storage, it probably does have an application there.
And just note that Microsoft did drop out Outlook from their standard Office build at one stage, and you got OneNote instead. And then you had to get Outlook separately. So I think they might have just got a lot of default installs that way of OneNote.
Yeah, possibly. But
that's how I ended up with OneNote.
But talking about not syncing correctly and things not working, Jason, what's going on down at the ATO? We've been waiting for years for e-tax for the Mac. It's come out.
E-tax for the Mac?
Yes,
and
it's out.
It's sort of out, but I think maybe the tax office aren't used to Apple development and got a little bit caught up on mountain lion around the signing of applications. And like some apps that come out, you get the a warning coming up saying this app is from an unidentified developer.
You are kidding me.
Which you can, of course, work around. But to the general user, if you've got your security features set to default, you can't just go and install it.
You're stuffed. That's no good. So yeah,
all those people excited with the new tax year just rolling in, who are trying to get an early start on their tax.
So like, finally, the tax office is supporting Mac, and they're not.
And they forgot to get clearance from Apple.
You can right-click on it and go open. It'll say, "Are you sure you want to open this?" And then from then on, it'll let you open it. But it's just that first time that it's going to put a lot of people off.
But
of course,
I'm speaking from a total pretending not to have any knowledge at all about what happens at the ATO. But I mean, does the ATO, what are we saying that they have their own programmers? So they program their own stuff? I thought they would have outsourced it. Everyone else is outsourcing.
There was a story some time ago about the outsourcing of this, I think, and the amount of money that they paid for it. So, yeah, if my memory serves correctly, it was actually outsourced, which maybe even makes it worse then. So you've gone to a specialist for it and they haven't delivered. But you fail to see how this even goes through any kind of user testing, because you know, as it moves through your software development life cycle, it's going to be looked at by, you would think, numbers of people.
But I read some figures of how much this has cost to implement. Well, not implement, to get to a stage where it's still broken, and it's something like.
Would you like to hear?
5.3.
The tax office has spent $5.2 million.
Yeah,
to write an app.
So this is outsourced. It must be outsourced. But whatever, they've created They've spent $5.2 million. It's ridiculous.
Melbourne IT company DWS.
Well, there you go.
The ones who give them a job.
Dickwad Services.
How could they win? How could they win a contract to develop this app for the ATO?
It happens all the time,
and yet not be already signed developers with Apple.
Perhaps they gave the application to the ATO and said, "Okay, you need to
give us $99 more.
You need to sign it under that, so that it wouldn't be signed as coming from DWS, but it would be signed under an ATO account." And then nobody did it,
and nobody knew that. Yeah. Someone forgot something in a brief somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's crazy, isn't it? Like, it's out of control. I would have, it's something so simple. But anyway, so there is a workaround if you're really keen to get into it. But anyway, the DWS, they've tried their hardest, and it looks like it fell over with the ATO. So anyway,
they might not get 5.2 million next year.
No, but that's how it works in all these governments, isn't it? Departments, things just don't work. And then look at the Queensland Health. That's something that started out at 200 million. I think it's up past $1 billion just to try and fix it. It's out of control. Out of control. All right. Don't forget our Facebook page at aussietechheads.com.au/Aussie Techheads. Is that right? No, that's not right. Facebook.com/Aussie Techheads. And so there's only one Facebook page for everything. All right, the Aussie Tech Head Show and the Aussie Max Zone. So don't forget that. Don't forget we are in the iTunes, and I will publish an RSS feed to the webpage soon for those of you that don't have iTunes and want to get it via some other method. And also youtube.com/Aussie Tech Head. You'll find the video of this show and every show. So go and jump in there. And we do have, we've got little people out there that do listen. And they just love writing in, asking questions, and we'll pick one.
The little people. It's the little people. They're little spots. Oh, that's wonderful.
Now, I'm just trying to find out. I'm trawling through, and we're going to pick Jenny from Alstonville. I've been to Alstonville. That's not bad. They've got a nice shanks down there at the Shank House or something. But anyway, my MacBook Pro 15 recently encountered a problem. No sound is coming out through. No sound is coming out. Its case. Through its case. With the bottom. No sound is coming out through. That's easy for you to say. No sound is coming out through its case with both the headphones and internal speakers. Can anyone advise me on how to get the sound. So she's without sound. MacBook Pro 15, no sound coming through its case or speakers. What's going on here? Who wants to take that one? Anyone interested in speakers?
Have a look in the system preferences sounds app and make sure that it's enabled for the right option in there. Would be a good start.
All right. So, well, actually, there is. Look, someone has put the answer in here for us. First thing I would try is to reset the PRAM. What's the PRAM?
The PRAM, the parameter RAM.
Oh.
So sometimes if things are going a little bit weird with your Mac, that's something to try. So look, again, if she's gone through the obvious that it's not muted or the volume isn't down.
Yeah.
And we looked in system preferences and done the more obvious things. Sometimes resetting the PRAM can get rid of some of those gremlins in the system. And to do that requires a little bit of dexterity with the fingers. So it's to shut down the computer, and then when you boot it, you hold down the command option and the P and the R keys.
Wow.
So all 4 keys down and power on the machine. Now, what you normally listen for is the reboot chime. So that's the sound you get when you power up your Mac from being off. You wait for that to sound 3 times. But I guess if your sound isn't working,
Guess.
I'm not. It might be a further indication.
Okay, so can we just go back? So MacBook Pro, what did you have? 15. So is this a recent model? This is a recent model Mac, or is this an older model?
Could be either.
Yeah.
Depends on when it was bought there, or it's just the model number, size 15 inches.
All right, so make sure that it's not on mute. Make sure the volume's turned up, because most of these things, unfortunately, are user errors. Make sure your headphones do work. Go and plug them into another machine or something else, and then maybe if they do work, you come back, do what Jason suggested, and you won't be able to hear the chimes, which makes it hard. So I guess
that might indicate that it's maybe a greater indication that it's an issue. Because I mean, worst case would be that it is a hardware error, which is going to be a visit to the
shop.
Genius Bar if you have a Apple store nearby, or to your local Mac service center to be looked at.
That's right. All right, I hope that answers your question. Try those.
And try rebooting a couple of times. I had that happen with mine, where you'd press the volume up and down on the keypad and nothing would happen. In fact, it had the picture of the a circle with the speaker in there, and it had a line across it. And I had to reboot a couple of times before it had just come back. There was no reason. I plug in headphones, unplug it, didn't make any difference. Just one of those things go a bit dodgy for some reason. I had Googled all over the place.
Oh, did you wipe it up? All right, so all right.
Hey, were you getting the chime noise?
We need a soundboard on the show. We really do.
So, all right, so go and try those things, and look, go to the Apple Store if all else fails, and check it out. If you haven't got an Apple Store near you, it is Jason with a Y at aussiemaczone.com.au.
He'll be happy to drive up and personal visit.
That's right. Now, look, people
looking for some of those shanks.
Oh yes. I forget what
likes a
make
good
it worth
shank.
it.
That's the Roaring Bull or the Raging Bull or something like that. I've been there like 20 years ago. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. All right, now look, people are asking me all the time, because I got the iPad and the iPhone and all this and the Apple TV and all that, and I'm like right into it. Apple is my mobile preference, so to speak. So well, people are asking me about movies and all this sort of stuff. Now, this is my tip and app of the week, because they say, how do you play your movies on your iPhone if you got them on another computer at home or in the other room or something like that? Well, I stream them. I've got them on a Windows box, but I can actually stream it to my mobile or to the iPad, and I can also stream it not only on the Wi-Fi, but also it will transcode on the fly, which means it's not sending out, say, the picture at full, 1080p. It'll transcode it. It'll shrink it right down. So then it's only just dribbling it out over your 3G. So it's not taking all your bandwidth and costing you heaps of money. Now, how do I do it? There's an app. It is called Air Video. Now, I don't think it is free, but it's only a couple of bucks. You'd like with all of these sort of things. Now, you go and grab that. You put a little companion on your machine in the corner in your room, and then you put the app on your phone, on your device, and then you'll be able to connect to your computer at home or your other computer. You'll be able to select what you want to watch, go and watch it. And the beautiful thing with this as well is it will also play, as far as I know, I'm pretty sure I've tried this, it will also play a Windows Media Center files, which you record on a Windows Media Center. So it is pretty powerful. It's pretty good. It'll play almost anything. So that's my tip. Has anyone tried that? The Air Video? Anyone had a go at that? No.
I had one called Good Player. That one worked quite well. It played just about anything I could throw at it.
Yep, and it went over the 3G and Wi-Fi as well.
I hadn't tried sending it over through 3G.
Okay, and Jace, have you tried doing this? Is this up your alley? Have you got this sorted?
Some time ago, I used Plex to do that. I think it actually was supported over 3G, but I didn't use it that way. It was normally for just around the house. Right. These days, I've got everything in iTunes, so I just stream it directly from there. But that's only on Wi-Fi, not over 3G.
Yeah, and because it's a pretty much an Apple sort of an app, it also has you can AirPlay it, so that's also good. That's what I love. All right, what else? Someone else who else got an app or a tip of the week? Who else is in the list here? Warlock, have you got something?
Yeah, there's a cool little thing that I found on the web called Smart Roll Electronic Gaming Dice. And it's actually dice that have got a little battery in them and Bluetooth, and you can pair it with your iPad or iPhone or whatever. And then when you're playing games, if they've got this API integrated in their game, you can throw the dice, and for the game, it'll come up on the screen what the dice have got on their faces. So it's like using real dice if you want to play electronic Yahtzee. So the board and everything is on your device, but you actually get to throw physical dice, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's all right.
You can pair up to 10 dice to one device with the smart technology. So if you want to play any of those Dungeons and Dragon games or something, you need a lot more dice. Well, there you go.
There you go.
So backlit LEDs flash when the dice are moving around, and you can shake to wake them up. So if they're just sitting there, they'll go into a sleep mode. So give them a bit of a shake, and it'll wake them up.
Yeah,
and it comes with trivia, craps, and a music challenge game. So that sounds like
that's pretty cool. Do you see the price for those, Warlock?
No, I haven't seen the price for them.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to ask. I wonder how much are they?
They're looking for developers interested in programming the API into their games.
Interesting. And
that's what will make or break them, isn't it?
Yeah.
And Jason, you had a little tip /app.
I've been looking at Roomy Remote, which is an application for both the iPhone and iPad around, as it would imply, remote control of devices. But obviously to be useful where a lot of stuff is infrared and or can be controlled over serial. Look, more and more devices, I guess, are becoming IP controllable, so you can actually plug them in, but still for most things it's infrared or for amplifiers, etc. You can control them via serial, to get feedback and two-way communication. There's a company called Global Cache, whatever the pronunciation is there, that do little boxes for around about $100 that will plug in on your network. You can either get wired or wireless ones, and they'll either you can either use them to run some infrared blasters, so you can basically use that for Foxtel, for TV amplifier, whatever runs over IR to align the blaster with your with the IR receiver on the device.
I have seen little devices, little hardware things that'll plug into the headphone jack, I think, and do something similar, like a learner remote. It turns your phone into like a learner.
Okay.
I've seen something similar, but this thing looks like a little bit better because it actually sits on your network.
It does, and the serial one just connects to the serial port. So again, for hi-fi devices, there's some of those that support serial. And the advantage there is, as opposed to infrared, you'll get feedback. So where I've got that plugged into one of my amplifiers at the moment, a Denon amplifier, if you change the volume, or you actually go and change it manually, you get feedback into the app. It actually shows up on the app. So
yeah, nice.
At the moment, I guess it's in pilot. I've unboxed it and had a play with Roomy. Look, the other thing with Roomy Remote is it's quite quick to use out of the box. So unlike some other applications where you need to go on the computer and drop icons in and script things up, etc., Roomy you can actually set up on the iPhone or iPad itself. It supports a lot of your home devices around TVs,
Right.
amplifiers, etc. You just can go through the list and select them. And look, I guess you lose some of the customization, but to have reasonable home automation up and running in an hour or so, which is what I've done so far. I haven't, I guess, tuned it as much as I'd like. That's pretty good for, I think, around $50 for the app. And as I said, these devices are around the $100 mark.
Yeah.
But you're looking at something there that's pretty good, a nice interface compared to going a few years back where you've got your AMX and Control 4 and all the dedicated stuff, which is you're starting at 10K, I think, for that.
Yeah.
And it's around installers. You can't get the software to do it, so you have to be a dealer or installer for it. So
because I know
again, like a lot of things, it's just coming to stuff you can do at home. And I mean, that automation stuff's getting really exciting with what you can do.
Well, God knows that I've got about 500 remotes, one for everything, and I've had a all-in-one remote before. It was great until it broke. It lasted me a couple of years. And it was great. I've never been bothered to reprogram another one as yet. But you pick up the T box, and you can get an app, and because it's on the T box is on your network. You get an app on your iPhone, and that's the T-Box remote. So that works great. I don't even know where the actual physical T-Box remote is now, but yeah, I think this is the go. I'd love to be able to, just go into any room or whatever and just control your stuff. That'd be good, wouldn't it?
Control anything from anywhere.
That's right. And Garth, now I know you weren't. You've been on holiday, so have you got anything off the top of your head, or you passed?
Off the top of my head. Yeah, I do. And that, as we're all, as many of us will be well aware, Google have finally shut down the old Google Reader.
Yes.
So I was looking for a replacement service. And my favorite iOS app, what's it called? Feedly? No, not Feedly.
Yeah.
That's the one that everyone else is using. What's it called?
There's Feeder, I think.
Feeder Pro.
Right, yep. You like that one?
I love that one. Now, it doesn't have its own back-end service, but it's integrated with about 3 different ones.
Yeah.
BazCorp and a couple of other ones. Anyway, the one I've found, there's a free one that I heard from a mate today, and I signed up and checked it all out. It's looking really good so far, is the old Reader. So it's basically a replacement for Google Reader. It works with Feedler Pro. And very nice. It's a freebie.
What are you looking for in a feed reader? What?
In the actual iOS app itself, it does a heap of stuff. So it always used to sync with Google Reader, obviously. And so you can do all the management type stuff, sharing with various Instapaper, Pocket, the rest. Automatically have it come up in full text. So it's coming up as a full text article straight away, single swiping through so that you're getting the whole, instead of just some of the feed readers will just show you the title in the list and you have to go in to get the précis and then you have to go in further, or the extract, I should say, then go in further to get the actual, full article, whereas this one will show you the title and the proceeds straight away.
Well, I've got I did just quickly on that to build on your recommendation there. I went over to Feedly, and I think it's brilliant. It's probably a visual app for the iPhone, and it does look really nice. You just flick things around like through the categories, whatever. It's nice and easy. And also, I'll probably maybe review this another time, but a little tip is this new service, like you mentioned, like Pocket and all that sort of stuff. You can share it to this thing called Buffer. I don't know if you guys have heard of that, and you share it. You share it into your Buffer, and what happens? You can set that up then. So then it will automatically share to your Facebook and Twitter, but at pre-designated times, or so you can fill your Buffer up, say with 1,000 stories, but it might only release 2 every half an hour, if you know what I mean. To Facebook, Twitter. So that's
Instead
really
of
good.
Usual where you dump a whole heap in there at once, sort of thing. Yeah,
that's right. Yeah. So go and have a look at that. So yours was Feeder. Did you say, Garth? Feeder Pro.
The actual service itself, the iOS app I use is Feeder Pro, whereas the service, the back end service that lots of apps will support, is the old Reader.
Right.
There's a whole heap of these. Like Feedly that you're speaking of, it's got the front end app and a back end service, and there's some like Mr. Reader. It's one of the other apps that will work with Feedly. Lots of
I'm not sure.
I think
I'm not sure where Google Reader is up to at the moment. I know it's closed, but is it? So you go to Reader and you get nothing? Is that what it is? Because I know with Feedly they were saying that. Who knows what Google did, but with Feedly and probably with like the other ones, you could have imported all your Google Feeder, your Google Reader feeds into the one you were moving to. So who knows what happens now that they've closed down Reader? You might not be able to import anymore. I don't know, but
I was able I was able to do it today to export on another one I was looking at. It was it's not Text Wrangler. It was Feed Wrangler.
Right.
Sorry, Feed Wrangler is another one of these services that's come up to take the place of Google Reader.
Yeah.
And on that one, I was able to import from Google still now.
Oh, okay.
So even though they've closed down the actual, the service itself, you can still export your file at this stage, I believe. Why
they would close it down, I got no idea. It seems to be pretty popular, so I don't know. Jason, what sort of feed are you into feeds? Do you want any comments on that?
Yeah, I was just going to say the other one that might be worth looking at that I only heard on a podcast in the last week, and I went and had a look at, and I actually don't mind it. I did have Feedly, is by Dig. So if anyone remembers the Kevin Rose site, DIGG, Dig, there's a Dig reader out, and the interface is really nice. It's a lot, I think, just stripped down and more simpler than Feedly. And there's a couple of cool things it's got that with the feeds where you've got them on the left-hand side, you can drag and drop the feeds around to organise them around into to categories. And the other thing that it's got, and I guess this sort of is its link back into Dig and what Dig was and still is, I guess, is it's also got a popular tab. So it does provide you, and it's not too intrusive, just some indications on the articles of the day that are more popular or bubbling up to the top. So nice. I'm having a bit of a play around with that, and I like that one.
Yeah, and Warlock, have you got any preferences for readers?
Well, I haven't actually used any readers in such a long time. I get most of my news through Twitter these days, or having a look on Reddit itself. I used to be fully into the readers, and I'd have a different one all the time till I found one that was really good and exporting, importing the OML. But these days, everything I see comes up on Twitter, and I'm just always got that going the whole day long, so I can see all the new stuff and
nice.
add in there for
Yep.
Warlock just reads raw XML. He just loves
it. Binary, thank you. 101.
Eats it for breakfast. Oh, just like that's neutral grain. Oh, you love it. All right. Well, that's just about at the end of episode 3. I don't think, has anyone else got anything that they desperately need to get off their chest before we go?
I did notice a little, just in the Twitter feed here running, just did late breaking news that Apple are building a 20 megawatt solar farm for its Reno, Nevada data center.
Yeah, right.
And just having a look, it's going to be 137 acre solar farm. So I guess there's lots of desert out there and lots of sun, I guess, in Nevada. So
you'd see that from the moon, wouldn't you?
I suggest you would.
A little glint down on the earth there. Yeah, well, that's good. So, the sun's a free resource, so why not? Good on them. Good on them for doing it. We should be utilising these free resources and the plentifulness of all this sort of stuff. The sun, it will never stop shining. Well, maybe a couple of billion. But,
so they won't be paying any carbon tax on that, I guess.
No, Ruddy's going to abolish it, right?
We need Eric here.
That's
to tell us all about the carbon tax.
Oh, geez. And so Eric he's going to drop into Aussie Mac Zone every now and then. And you might know Eric from the Aussie Tech Head show, and you might know Garth as speaking of that from iBlind Tech and Cool Blind Tech. Just as they're the URLs, Garth, iblindtech.com and coolblindtech.com.
Exactly, yes.
Oh,
precisely.
Okay. There was a funny little noise there. It wasn't Garth, it was something else. It's all right. And, that's about it. So go and have a look at the show notes if you're interested in any of those apps that we spoke about and wanted to catch up on further reading of any of those news stories. Just the show notes will be at aussietechheads.com.au. Go to show notes and choose Aussie Mac Zone and you'll be sweet. That brings us to the end. Emails, I say, as it's just any one of us at aussiemaczone.com.au. Twitters, you can get us at me, Aussie Tech Heads, Jason at Jason Walmsley, Jason with a Y, that is, Warlock at Warlock, WAULOK, and Garth at iBlindTech. So good stuff. All right, so that's the end. And don't forget the iTunes gift voucher. Do a review on iTunes. Send us a screenshot so we know it's you, and you can win. We'll give that away, maybe as soon as we get 10 reviews or something like that. We'll be random. It'll be random. We might have to give it away after one, but it'll be random.
You'll never know.
We'll never know. All right, good stuff. Well, that is it. If you got any feedback or you want to see something on the show or you want us to change something or whatever, constructive feedback or whatever, fan feedback, whatever it is, just send us an email at any one of us or MacZone at aussiemaczone.com.au. That'll get there. All right. Thanks, boys, Jason, Warlock, and Garth.
See you next week.
Cheers, guys. See you next week.
We'll see you all next week for another show. And apologies for the live streamers this week. Unfortunately, Ustream died in the backside. But we hope to be live next Tuesday night, from 7:30 p.m. Queensland time at aussietechheads.com.au/live. Until then, it's bye-bye.